Hey guys, Jamie Ray with Jamie Ray Vintage here. Today's DIY, I'm going to show you how to take a crate from Home Depot and make it look a little aged and a little chippy. If you've been following me on Instagram, you saw that I recently redid my entryway with a gorgeous bench that Zeb made me for my anniversary. Underneath there's a return air vent and I kind of want to detract from that. I can't block it completely, but I thought 3 crates would be a great way to cover up that ugly vent and give me a little bit more storage. So I went to Hobby Lobby to buy some and they didn't have anything I liked. They didn't have the right size, so I decided to go to Home Depot, and my plan was to buy some wood and then show you how to build crates. But I found these the exact same size for $9.95, and I figured the wood alone probably would have cost me $5 or $6, so it was worth it to me to spend the extra couple bucks and have it pre-made. So if you don't have a Home Depot close to you, you could probably order these crates on Amazon. A lot of the craft stores carry them, but at Home Depot they're $9.95. The first thing you're going to need to do is sand them. So you can sand them by hand or you can use your orbital sander. I've got my 80 grit sandpaper because I'm going to wind up painting these, so I'm not super worried if the finish is really nice, and I just want to take it down fast so that way I don't get any splinters. Okay, so now that we've got this all sanded, I wanted to let you know I did go in between each and every rung. That's where most of the splinters were. So I took the sandpaper and just kind of went like this and just removed all of the loose splinters. When you are picking out a crate, they're not all created equal. I probably should have done a little better job picking. So find one that has the best wood, because they were not too particular when they built these. So alright, so the next thing we're going to do is stain it, and I'm all out of gloves. So one of the things I do when I don't have any gloves is I use a Ziploc bag. And since I have 5 kids, we have a ton of socks that don't have matches. So I love staining with a sock, especially with this application, because I can take my hand and get it in all the cracks. I'm using Minwax Jacobian, and I'm not too particular if it gets on there perfectly because I'm going to be painting the whole thing with milk paint. So I'm just going to try to get it on as evenly as possible. And I'm going to do all of these crates inside and out. And then once it's dry, I'll go ahead and put a coat of sealer on there, and then we'll milk paint it. Okay, so we stain these with Minwax Jacobian, and then we just seal them with a spray polyacrylic out of our gun. And the next step is a little unorthodox. Some people just do straight up milk paint, but this is a lot of edges and details. So I'm taking chalk paint and snowflake, and I'm going to put 1 coat of chalk paint on all 3 of these crates. When I'm done with that, then I will milk paint. I'll still get crackle, I'll still get chippy, but it's just going to make it a lot smoother. If you don't want to do this extra step, you could just go straight to the milk paint. You're just going to wind up brushing on more coats of milk paint. Alright guys, our chalk paint is all dry. I'm going to be using Sweet Pickett's milk paint in Flour Sack. I'm going to put on a coat of that, and then we'll be ready to distress and seal. Alright, so Zeb just showed you an up-close picture of the crackle. So even with a coat of chalk paint underneath, if you put that milk paint over the top, it will still chip and crackle the same. So just a little tip, if you have something you want to spray and only do like 1 coat of milk paint, if you put the chalk paint underneath and the milk paint over the top, it'll still work great, and it cuts down on the brushing that you have to do. So if you're looking to do this project at home and you need to purchase Fairy Chalk Mother and Sweet Pickett's milk paint, you could do this entire project with 2 sample milk paints and 2 sample chalk paints will do it. If you want a super good coverage, not any wood showing through, you might need a little bit more than that, but for the finish I'm doing 2 of each will work. Or if you just had 3 chalk paint samples or 3 milk paint samples, that would also do it. And if you were doing just 1 crate, you would just need 1 of either the milk paint or the chalk paint, or you could do a sample of each and you'd have some left over. Okay, so next up is we're going to use our orbital sander to distress. You can always hand sand, no problem. I've just got 3 to do, and this will make light work. I'm using 220. You could use anywhere from like 120 to 220 would work for this. I am so in love with how these boxes turned out. They're chippy and crackly. They look legitimately aged, like they've been worn over time. And I'm so excited to put these underneath my bench. I'll make sure Zeb gets some pictures so you can see where they're going at. Now at this point, they have not been sealed. I'm not gonna seal them because they're going in my house, and I don't care if they get aged and dirty and crack and chip some more, because that's a look that I like. But if you don't wanna do that and you wanna make sure that this doesn't change at all and you want them nice and crisp, then you're gonna need to seal them. You can seal them with a wax or a polyacrylic or anything basically that will seal, but make sure you're not using any oil-based sealers because that will yellow it and that will look kind of gross over time. So I hope this inspires you to create some crates in your home. You can use chalk paint, milk paint, a little bit of both, and create a look that you love. To order this paint, go to JamiRayVintage.com, give us a thumbs up, and subscribe to Jami Ray Vintage for more DIY.